Snack shopping in a typical grocery store can be tough if you're vegan and gluten-free. Passing up one of my favorite brands from back in the day, Entenmann's, is always a little sad. They make delicious cakes, cookies, and pastries, all of which I can't enjoy. That is, until I found a way around it. Let's get baking. Alright, so if you haven't had Entenmann's brand anything before, you are missing out. It's one of my favorites. They have coffee cake that's like super amazing. All of their pastries, they were a staple in our house. And one of the items that was most popular, was my dad's favorite, was the chocolate covered donuts. These were so good. So what we have here is a pack of 8. Obviously not vegan, not gluten-free, but let's take a look and dissect these. Open this. Apparently I don't know how to open a box. There we go. All right, ooh, these look great. You know, reminds me of the old days. It's really light. Doesn't have much smell to it, which is weird. Let me get a plate. Let's really dive in here. Not smaller than I remember. Did they change something? I don't know if any of you have had these before and remember them from back in the day. It seems so tiny. All right, so let's break it open. All right, so it's really like a cake donut. Kind of dry, but has a nice even layer of chocolate all around. Spongy. I definitely think we can make our own version of this. So we're gonna put that aside and we're gonna get started. All right, so this is gonna be super easy. It might seem like a lot of ingredients, but they're all pantry staples and it's all necessary to get that nice, cakey, moist texture that we want for the donut, but it's going to be vegan and gluten-free. So we need our all-purpose gluten-free flour. This is 1 cup. I'm gonna throw that right in my mixer here. And then next we have 1 cup of brown rice flour, and 1/2 cup of almond flour. Next is 1.5 cups of sugar. And winding down here, I have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just dump that right in. 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And then just 1.5 teaspoons of some sea salt. So you can do this in with a hand mixer as well, but I always prefer my stand mixer. So let's just give that a few turns. Okay, just enough to get it all blended. Now that cake that's in that donut, the Entenmann's donut, it's almost like a yellow cake. So usually that happens because you add egg, so we don't have egg, being that it's vegan. So I'm gonna add just a little pinch, not even gonna measure it, I'm just gonna eyeball a pinch of turmeric. So we're gonna use a little turmeric just to get that color. So let's just do a little sprinkle, not a lot, it goes a long way. And now let's mix that in. It doesn't have to be bright yellow, you just want a little more color than white. All right, so that's it for the dry ingredients. So let's move on to our wet ingredients. Let's start with oil. I have olive oil here. It's 3/4 cup. So I'm gonna put that in. Actually, let me take this off. And now add that right to our flour blend. And then we have just 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. And I have 1.5 cups of almond milk. Any plant milk should work. I'm just using almond milk. It's my preference for this one. I'm gonna throw that right in. And then some vanilla extract. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon. Okay, so easy. Today's actually my father's birthday, so it's kind of fun that I'm doing this today because this was his favorite dessert to have in the house. We always had a box of these chocolate covered donuts by Entenmann's. All right, so let's blend this. Start off slow so it doesn't get all messy. Slowly increase it. I'm gonna stop it just for a second because it's sticking to the bottom and I wanna make sure I get all of that blended. And again, if you don't have a stand mixer, okay, you can use a hand mixer or you can do it by hand with a whisk if you want. But just make sure you're getting all that flour blended in. Let's give that a good whisk. Turn it on high for just a second. All right, I think we are good. Let's give it a check. Yeah, so it is very runny. This is a very watery looking batter, but this is perfect. This is exactly what you want. Here's the donut mold that I'm going to use. I can already tell you, especially after looking at that Entenmann's donut, ours are gonna be way bigger, so already better. These are silicone. I really like these because it makes everything easy to take out. But if you know me already by now, I'm going to do extra insurance here and add a little oil and a little flour just to make sure it doesn't stick. So I'm just gonna use a brush here and get some oil around there. I mean, these are pretty non-stick, but I like the extra help. And I'm only doing 4 right now. I have a couple more of these donut molds, but we are going to do just 4 today, but that batter should yield probably 8 to 10 donuts, depending on the size. And then just a little flour. Again, extra assurance, not gonna hurt. You can use some of the brown rice flour or the all-purpose flour. I'm using brown rice here. The brown rice is nice too because it's not gonna cake on afterwards. Sometimes that's a problem when you use flour to prepare a pan. It kind of ends up all clunky. So this one's not as bad. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little shake over the sink. Okay. And because it's so liquidy, just be very careful pouring it in. And I would say you don't want to go to the tippy top, probably like 1/2 inch from the top because it will puff up. And now we are ready to go. We're gonna get this into the oven. We're gonna set it to 350, and these are gonna bake for about 20 to 25 minutes until golden brown. Right, these are ready. Nice and bouncy. Smells amazing. So these are ready, but I'm gonna give it about 2 or 3 minutes to set up a little more because they're a little too warm to take out of the mold. I don't want them to break, so let's just give it a few minutes and then we will transfer them. Okay, they're still a little warm, but we should be able to get them out of the mold and onto this cooling rack. So I'm just gonna flip them. Shake it a little. Okay, yep, they seem to be coming out perfect. Look at that. Smell really good. And their texture already seems really perfect for this donut. So since they are warm and the cake is tender, before we even attempt to do chocolate, we're going to freeze these for maybe about 15 minutes just to make sure they're fully set and the cake doesn't get all into our chocolate. But while that's cooling, we'll make our chocolate coating. And we're gonna start with 12 ounces of our vegan chocolate chip chunks. I'm gonna put them right here in my double boiler. Just give this a little stir. It's already starting to melt a bit. Now to help us achieve that nice, smooth, even coating, we're going to add about 6 of these little discs. These are cocoa butter chips, and I can share the link to where I got these, but these are really good. It's gonna help us with the tempering. It's gonna make this nice, shiny looking chocolate a lot smoother, better texture. So I'm adding about, let's say 6 of these. You don't need too many, but that should be about enough. And we're just gonna wait until this gets all melty. You can maybe kind of see already how shiny the melty area where the cocoa butter chips are. It just makes it look so pretty. And if you're not a master chocolatier like I am not, it really helps the tempering process. I'm gonna switch to my whisk just to get a little more combined. So it's looking like everything is fully melted. All of our chips are absorbed. We have a beautiful shine. But I'm noticing one thing that's off, that if we really truly wanna make these look like Entenmann's, it's the color of the chocolate. Let me bring over one of those donuts here to show you. So this is the Entenmann's chocolate. Look at it compared to actual chocolate. Why is it so dark? I mean, this is dark chocolate. So I wanna get as close as possible to this color just because I'm trying to emulate this. You don't have to, this is optional, but I found this really amazing black food coloring gel, and I can share the link to where I got this. And it's nut-free, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, perfect for this. And we're gonna add some in because I want that color. And it's pretty strong, so I don't think we need a lot. I'm gonna go ahead with like 2 healthy squeezes to start. Let's get that all blended. Look at that. It blends in so well. Actually, let's get my whisk. It's darker, but I think we can go a little darker, so let's do maybe like 1.5 more. There we go. Again, no clue why the Entenmann's is so dark, but maybe they do food coloring as well. Let's look at our donut again. Still a lot darker, but I don't want to go much darker because I don't want to add so much food coloring, but I think we're pretty close. So let's just go with that. And then we'll check on our donuts to see if they're ready. Right, these are cooled just enough to get the coating on. So I'm gonna transfer them right now to a tray that I lined with parchment. I've got my gloves on because it's gonna get a little messy. I'm gonna have to touch these. So let's put this aside. We've got our chocolate. So I'm not gonna lie, this can be a little tricky and a little messy, but just have fun with it. I tried a lot of techniques to try to get this to be smooth and easy, and this is the one that I think works the best. So I'm actually gonna turn these over on the flat side first. And we are going to put the chocolate directly on here. Just like coat it, because this is gonna be our bottom. Don't be afraid to let it drip off the sides because you're just gonna flip it over anyway. And down the middle there to get through the hole. Let's just do all of them real quick and then we'll flip them all over. It smells so good, melted chocolate, delicious. It's gonna get messy, don't worry about it. So now we are just going to flip it right over onto the parchment. So we've got the bottom coated. And that'll stay on there and come off when it dries. So let's see, I'm gonna switch to a spoon because now we're gonna wanna do a little more coverage here to the best of our ability. Let's get that chocolate all the way around and let it just fall over. There we go. Make sure it gets down to the middle. Coverage. Well, these are looking good. Get this front part. So if you want, you could leave it like this and let it set, but we have so much excess chocolate, which is great because we got that nice smooth coverage, but I'm gonna transfer it to another tray because I really don't want all of that chocolate and I want the whole to come out. So we're gonna just do a little lift, maybe a little shake. There we go, get that perfect. And we're gonna move that over gently. A little breakage there, but that's all right. It's difficult. Lift. So again, this is probably the most challenging part of this. But look how good looking it is. Real quick, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, but what about all the chocolate? What a waste. I can just fold this right up in my parchment. Store it how I want. when it sets, I have chocolate for melting for another day. So no waste. All right, so now we've got our donuts. They're looking pretty good. Definitely bigger than your standard Entenmann's chocolate covered donuts, but I think they're looking pretty close. One tip, usually when I make chocolate coated items or bakes, I might throw them in the fridge because I'm in a rush. I don't recommend doing that. You're gonna want these to air dry so that they're not sticky, because the cold in the freezer will create some condensation and just makes them messy. So let these sit, preferably even overnight, but at least 5 to 6 hours to set completely. So I invited my partner in life and partner on the show, Chip, to join me here to do the little taste test. So we have everything splayed out here, and rather than wait that 5 to 8 hours for the ones that we just made to set, I did prepare overnight a batch. These aren't as pretty as the ones we just made, but I'm looking at the original Entenmann's and I don't feel so bad because they're not that pretty either. But again, look how small the originals are. I had no idea mine were gonna be that much bigger, but let's give them a try. I'm gonna cut this in half, but Chip, why don't you go ahead and familiarize yourself or re-familiarize yourself with what you remember an Entenmann's chocolate covered donut to be like.
All right. That's what I remember.
That's what you remember?
Yep.
Yeah, cakey. All right, so I just cut this one. Let's get a look at that. Other than the size being bigger, I mean, cake is same color almost. Not, you know, ours is very moist and tender.
Yeah, I was gonna say your cake feels
more moist.
more moist than the Entenmann's for sure.
Well, I'm gonna let you take a bite first since you
All right.
just had a bite of the Entenmann's. And let me go for it too.
This is a little waxier than your chocolate.
I mean, it's bigger, so it's a lot
Yeah.
more cake in your mouth. It's definitely a shareable size. You can adjust the size of the donuts. I went for big. You could go smaller, but I think the chocolate ratio is pretty good.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I can see the chocolate on here. And other than the color being weird, it feels waxier.
It's waxier, yeah.
I guess because it's a store-bought brand. They
Yeah.
have to make it have more shelf life. This has a more of a natural chocolate flavor, which that's the benefit of making something from home as opposed to the store. But
Yeah, the cake is moister.
Yeah.
More moist than.
I like moisture.
It's more moist for sure, and I think the chocolate's just a lot better.
All right.
Feels like
Yeah.
fresher.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's a
great.
success. Again, you might not fool anybody. Might not be able to put these in an Entenmann's box and sell them as that, but making a gluten-free and vegan treat that matches what you remember an Entenmann's to taste like, it's not that hard. So there you have it. With a little creativity and a little work, you can make something at home that matches anything that you miss having from the store that's not vegan or gluten-free. Let me know in the comments if there's some other items you would like to see a knockoff of. And until next time, see ya.
I'm gonna have some more of this.